Hello, everybody. Welcome to Rojo Tarot. It has been a few days. I got a microphone. I got a microphone. So, I don't know if you can already feel it in my own energy, but we are going to do a type of cleansing. Because the energy feels a bit... Bring it on! That's what it feels like. I ask dear ancestors and spirit guides, higher self, the universe, Mother Gaia, help us communicate what needs to be communicated, what you wish the people to know, what needs to be said in order for change to come, for justice to be given, for justice to be shown, for the truth to come out, in whatever form that may be. I ask for protection when going through this energy. I ask for clear thought and for clarity. May what comes through comes from the source, the universe itself, but through the justice system of Mother Gaia and the laws of the universe. May we determine what needs to be healed right now and what needs to be seen and acknowledged. Okay. I see a teepee. When I did this, I thought of a teepee. You might have indigenous roots, whether that be in the Americas or in any other indigenous group, minority. Sorry, I'm also looking at the smoke here. I also picked up what looks like a raven feather. You might be someone who is connected to ravens, who is connected to maybe even Odin, or the incest thing fell. Okay. I take those things as signs, and if you don't take those as signs, if you don't believe in that, you can leave. I'm sorry to be so direct, but there is also a significant energy here that is revolving around the justice system of the world. It is revolving around the justice system in different countries. And yes, you might be thinking, well, who are you? It's not only me that thinks like this. You call somebody, part of the government, whoever it is, because you need help. How do you respond to somebody as being part of the justice system, knowing that somebody is asking for help or to just have some guidance or whatever it may be for you? Maybe it doesn't even have to be, that's what I'm getting. It doesn't have to be physical. It doesn't have to be physical justice like the police, the government, It can also be spiritual. It can also be energetic. people, things, energies, entities who just decide to come in. Who just decide to sit by the window ledge, sit on your laptop, sit in the chair right next to you, watch you from a distance. We have the 5 on the bottom and the devil. With this 5 of Swords energy, it is mental energy. Because on top of justice, on top of physical justice, and on top of the spiritual justice is also a bit difficult to maintain, isn't it? Let's think about Harry Potter. I cut myself or something happened here and I don't even know how that happened. You know, this might be significant for you, but you might also be someone who has experienced weird shit. You might have experienced waking up with cuts on your body that look so precise, so intentional, but can be easily be mistaken as a mistake, as maybe that just happened out of nowhere. On your forehead, on your forearms. They don't have to be thick, they don't have to be deep, they don't have to be self-inflicted. What I'm getting is people are trying to stop your ability to see. Fog. There's a ballad playing, some type of ballad, choir, chant, collective will, that, no offense, dissipates like this incense smoke. You see the way how strong it is when it goes up and then eventually just fucking dissipates? It joins the rest of the air. What people don't understand is that you can no longer commit injustice, unjust acts anymore without there being something in return. This is because people with the ability to speak this into existence have been speaking it into existence, and if they have not been using their voices, they have been using the power of their minds, of their bodies, and of their hearts for their cells. The memory stored in each cell, in the water that flows through our bodies. When they say our bodies is 90% of water, and we just sort of fucking accept that as like, oh, fun fact. Our bodies are that because they are also able to receive and relay messages through the element of water. The element of water carries memory. The element of water can help you remember things, dreams, when you're washing your dishes. Randomly, the dream that you had last night, a flash of it comes through. When you're showering, when you forgot something and you shower and it came through again. Washing clothes by hand. Now say, okay, whatever you're doing. Water carries so much more power than we realize. Water is like diamonds. Water is just as valuable as diamonds. When it hails, what falls from the sky? Diamonds. Diamonds in the rough. Diamonds formed by icy pressure. Water that was once a liquid fluid, wanting to kiss the land softly as it splatters. Yes, it splatters, but it's still gentle. It's still receptive and wanting to be one in its fluidness, rather than, yes, having to come into the form of hail, something that is a lot harder, something that people actually have to shield themselves from, sometimes when it's really big, really bad. Things get damaged. Excuse me. Angelina Jolie just came through. Wow. And the freaking King of Wands. When I bring up Angelina Jolie, I'm bringing up a clip from one of the movies that she acted in. I think she was interviewing a random man, and this random man gave her random prophecies, but not random. About there being hail, about there being something else, and then the last one was that she was going to die. Now, in the movie, before she's just like, okay, well that's strange, like that's not gonna happen. And each time one of the prophecies comes true, she gets more worried, because what if the one about me dying is gonna come true? Now the question here is, this man that she interviewed, is it that he had sightseeing, or is it that he had the ability to use his words in a way, maybe intentional, unintentionally, but because of the power of his words, that certain things come true? But then here comes the debate. If you know something, if you are this man, do you tell people? Do you tell the person? Because do you also realize that by you telling that person, by you planting a seed in their mind, that seed might grow if they water it, accidentally or not? That person's mind might be as fertile soil as anything, so yes, any seed might grow. If one does not know how to weed, or, it depends on how they tend their garden. So that's a debate. Did Angelina Jolie end up in a hospital because something happened to her? Because the guy said it? Because the guy saw it? Or because she herself helped this thing to manifest by worrying about it? By giving it so much energy? Now I'm getting somebody called the police and being so calm about their situation despite maybe what their intuition has been telling them. I just saw 1515 and nothing sort of. And nothing happens. Is this because the person also decided to not give it energy? Is it also because this person is guided? Is it because this person also has metaphysical backing? If the physical backing is not there, I feel like these are all questions. And also, I was gonna say something about the time as well. Like, I feel like I only sat here for a short amount of time and it's already been 16 minutes. Earlier today, I felt the same, and a reading had happened to me, I watched this guy, and he was also talking about how time, this woman, and how time was also speeding. I felt that in the moment because I felt lucky just before I watched that thing. I was sort of minding my own business and was like, oh, I really need to go to that store, and one of them was closed, and I was like, okay, but that was the one that I didn't want to go to. And then I kept walking, and just so happened I found the one that I needed, and it was open, and I could go in. And I was there, and it felt like I was there for ages, but I was there just in time before closing. 2 minutes. Now I see a throne. I saw something, and it's like the streets of China. I see a lot of lanterns. And like a throne or a wooden chair that's carved. And it's got circles like this on the armrests, so where your hands would be, right? And your elbows would be up like that. On the sides here, they'd look like this. Like this. I can try and draw it. I can find a piece of paper. Sure. I also have the song Moonlight, Spotlight, or Spotlight, Moonlight, Moonlight. Okay, I know it's a little bit shit. But something like that. That's what I'm getting. That's how the throne would sort of look like. Oh my god, that's so funny. I didn't even realize that this man was also on the throne. Like, it wasn't connecting. I wasn't looking at him. The fact that I added water onto some incense, and I did it in such a just it's interesting because, listen babes, everybody's got enough power. The power is within one's own ability to see limits. Where do you see these limits? Where do you project this idea of limits onto? These three wanted to come out. So we have the Eight of Swords in reverse. So the Eight of Swords, yeah, bitch. I'm sorry for swearing. But what we were just talking about, adding the water on this incense is like adding water on this freaking King of Wands here. Because this King of Wands, no, I know I didn't mention this earlier. But when it came out, it gave me the energy of, yeah. Two energies. One person could be doing this to you, sending that mental energy to you. You might be someone who, unfortunately, wasn't taught these things. Unfortunately, maybe your family members felt that it was not necessary or chose to keep it from you for some particular reason. And then sends you off into the world, waiting for the day that maybe you see things you can't, or maybe waiting for the day that somebody gets you without you realizing it, thinking it. It reminds me of a book that I was reading. It's called A Spell for Change. After adding water on this situation, and what it means by adding water is, yes, to sizzle it down, calm it down, stop it from smoking, bro, stop it from releasing all of this shit into the air. Because yes, despite it not going strong in its line to wherever it needs to go, it disperses. The dispersal still means that the intentions are still present in the air in whatever form that they're in fragments, within each particle. But also it's a way of thinking, right? Because somebody can be like, nah, that's not how it works. If somebody really believes it, reality can also shift in other people's favors depending on the wheel of fortune. Here we have the Chariot in reverse. This is getting me like not moving, because you're not feeling like whatever energies that maybe this King of Wands is even you. Like, I'm speaking to people who are not even sure anymore or feel like they just need someone to talk to about this. Come, sit. We will talk about it and we will heal this. I don't know how serious some people's situations are. But what I know is that sometimes, my God, does it help when you're not serious about certain situations. You might be someone who is very serious about a lot of things in your life. A lot of the little things as well. You try to do right in maybe every small aspect or as many small aspects as you can. This can also be taken advantage of. But what I'm getting is that you no longer feel a need to want to allow these swords, these mental energies, to keep you bound anymore. To stop your voice from actually being used, from being heard. Although it's blossoming here. Blossoms are quiet. And it's beautiful because when you do receive all this mental energy, it's like your voice also undergoes a change. Excuse me, confirmation. Because in receiving all of this fucking energy, after maybe a time of you being someone who didn't feel a personal need to use their voice, whether that be to defend yourself, to say what's true, to chip in, to I don't know what. It could also be because whenever you also showed anger, or when I say anger, it's just all of the things that are bottled up inside of you. When you show that, when you say something, when you speak, it's so funny because sometimes I'm getting, there's some energy here, and it could be your own mental energy as well, that is stopping or blocking, or has the illusion, is making the illusion that something in you is blocked. But it's an illusion. It's all an illusion. Evil. You know, when somebody does evil, when you scramble those words, doesn't it also spell out veil? Evil in this world is a veil. Or there has been a veil put on the evil. To look at things as if they're normal. To look at things as if it's all right. Yes, there is a way of living through this. By pretending like it's not there, you go on with your own life, live life the way they sort of set it up for you, and the possibilities that are open for you, if you have the money, of course, if you're the kind of person who can get hired, if you're the kind of person who has healed, if you're the kind of person who found people to help you heal, if you are somebody who even was able to gain the awareness of certain types of knowledge for you to even be able to be in the position that you're in. Thank God. Thank you, universe, for always being by your side, by everybody's side when everybody else wasn't. Even when you weren't. Even when you were against the universe. Even when you saw the universe as being bad, as being against you, as being the thing that is trying to get you. When they say the boogeyman, it just, he's darkness, right? He's dark. But what else is also dark? The universe. And when I say the universe, the matter within it, there's just, yeah, it's dark. You have all these stars and things, yes. Visually, it's dark. Like my hair. Like my eyes. But does that mean that it's bad? Does that mean... Because when I mention this, it reminds me of a dream that I once had. A dream that taught me something, but was only able to teach me something when I chose to go back into the dream and decide for myself how I wanted the dream to end. I think this is the lesson. This is the lesson when it comes to how we view fear. Is intuition listening to your fear, or is intuition born from certain fears? And fears are knowings. When you're walking in a jungle and it's dark and you've only got a flashlight and you hear a lion in the distance, maybe a few, do you just keep walking? Or are you gonna climb a tree? Or are you gonna freaking, is your mind going to shift in a way and look for survival, or look for, by itself, find a different path to maybe, prevent yourself from being caught in whatever that is, because you also, to a certain level, might also not be able to connect to an animal. You might not be able to think, or but I also feel that that's the thing. Some people in this world, yes, they really do just want to do bad shit. Because within them, something within them, around them, how they grew up, doesn't fucking matter. Also, how they grew up depends how they choose to also evolve within themselves, what path they consciously choose to take. In this dream, I had a sandy, golden, beautiful really, but faceless body, nearly the same as mine or same as mine. It was always there. There was a hammock in my room, and I knew that it was there because you could see that that it was sitting in there despite it being invisible, because it'd be invisible and visible sometimes. But you could tell that it's sitting there. The weight of its body in the hammock. Moments when you're out with friends and then all of a sudden it's in the corner, sitting there, all alone, or all afraid, all like this. Not saying anything, quiet. And an energy builds up because you don't understand why this thing, this being, this energy is here and always following you. It's not like they are trying to do something bad to you. It's not like they're trying to do that intentionally. It's not that they want to make you feel a certain way, make you feel it just eventually in the dream you sort of build up this tension of, why is it always here? Why is this thing always here? And it's not saying anything, it's not doing anything, but it's here. Everywhere I go. Doesn't matter who am I around. Why? I remember that towards the end of the dream, I was kind of upset. And I think it just ended in such a weird way. I think I was also mad at it. And then when I showed that, it reflected it back to me. I woke up and I was like, whoa, dude. What the fuck just happened? I'm sorry for cursing. But I was like, what? Then I went back into my dream and I was like, hold on a second. So then when this thing was coming at me, before when it was coming at me with anger, I was like, yo, dude, what's wrong? Like, are you genuinely okay? Why do you always feel like this? Why do you always feel sad and quiet and so alone? Like, it feels like that, like you watch someone who's always alone and who has this hole in their chest. And they know that it's there. And it feels like it's been there for ages. That so many people have seen that you have seen or experienced or something like that, and no one has been able to help them, and so they sit there. Until eventually you ask them, what's wrong, my dear? I'm sorry for the way that I acted. I was confused. I was confused about this energy. I was confused about this feeling that I also feel from you. Who are you? Why is it that I see you sometimes and then I don't see you, but I know that you're there? Like, is there anything I can do? Because that's also the one thing. You know, when you see something that you don't understand, that maybe doesn't feel real to you, that just makes you feel angry or, feel, oh shit, my nose. I'm so sorry. But makes you feel a type of way. And then when you finally approach this being with the kindness that you would have wanted to receive yourself, it's like a whole new world opens up in this being. They all of a sudden feel like they have features because now they're smiling, because something inside of them decided to shine, decided to open up. And in doing so, you were able to see who this person, this entity, this energy really is. And they were just somebody that needed some acknowledgement, some love. And then I gave them such a big hug. I really did pull them in and I said, I am so sorry for being the way that I was, because I didn't understand. Because I didn't understand you needed me. To just ask you if you were right, to ask you if you were okay, to ask you if I can do anything for you. To hold you in a way that nobody else has ever held you before. With love. And with unconditional love. And that moment, I didn't really care what that energy was planning on doing. I just gave it so much love. And then we ended up being besties, bro. And then it was like, I gotta go. And they were like, yeah, me too. And it's like, okay. And then I woke up again and I was like, much better. Jesus, imagine if I left that dream without, doing this. Like in myself, in my mind, in my body, in my soul, I was also able to do something. But in that moment, I also didn't understand the gravity, the weight of it, because I'm still thinking about it now. This happened in maybe summer of 2020. It has been 6 years. It's a story, it's a dream that I've told people before. Also, me trying to understand what it meant. My friends used to say that, Angie, you should turn your dreams into movies or books. I've thought of that. And sometimes it would make me feel a bit, like weird, because sometimes it's also something that I want to talk about. Like, when we look at certain movies or production teams, companies, I believe everyone understands the power of writing. I believe everyone well, not everyone. I believe certain people have the power to understand what intentions they put into letters, what energies they put into letters, into words, into visuals. Perspective, point of view. These things, they drive direction. They drive the way minds think. Imagine putting somebody in a room, not knowing, not being aware of any knowledge given by anyone, by TV, by nothing. They just there, and they're told to meditate, because that's the one thing they know. Somebody told them, if you meditate, you will be able to access the knowledge of the universe, because you will enter, and you cannot enter a space where you are aligned to everything. You resemble everything, and everything resembles you. And then the other person, they're put in a room with a TV. Now, when you look at the patterns of thought, when you look at the way that they think, it's like two seeds. They're growing towards they're growing towards the light, but in a different way, using a different path, a known path, a path that has been, explored and lived by other people, and I don't know. And then this path, it just goes. It's like mycelium. It's like the connections in our brains. It's like the connections in between all of the stars in the galaxies. But this one person grows like a tree, or grows singularly, or grows because it's just an interesting way to look at it. And I'm not saying that trees grow just upwards because of no silke. They're also connected to everything. That's also another thing that I'm curious about. Like, when we have this knowledge that people, that things are connected, of course trees, plants are as well then. More than us, if they know when the sun is coming, if they can feel the temperature change, if they can, they're there trying to live just as we're trying to live. But yes, they choose, or they have evolved to be stagnant. They have chosen, maybe, I don't know if they've chosen it. What is this thing about belittling literally everything just for us to feel like we're greater and bigger? Anyways, guys, when I was talking about all of that, the lovers in reverse was here. That energy of hugging, this energy that's been looming around, following you. You don't understand it, you get angry, you get weird vibes. No sé o qué. take a moment to sit with yourself. Keep your mind open. And whatever this looks like to you, I don't know again your situation if it's serious. But my darling, I ask of you, please stay positive. Stay positive. And if you feel really alone, ask the universe. Trust me. And don't only trust me. You know, I'm also just trust the universe. And in trusting the universe, it's also understanding your connection to it after all of these years until now. And yeah, coming to terms with certain things that maybe aren't as nice. Some things that unfortunately you do have to learn because of your own past actions. Other things, you deserve all the greatness in the world. If you're able to see that in yourself. And that is also the journey, because why would this person, why would you want to be planting seeds that you don't even want to have planted? When you're busy planting other seeds, when you're busy watering other seeds that you're intending for them to grow. Is it something that you feel like you don't deserve then? That there must be something. There must be something coming after me. There must be something here because it, wow, I can't deserve. What am I seeing? I thought I saw a star in the sky, but it's not even dark. Anyways, bro, my nose is getting clogged. That's what I mean. But yeah, as we were saying, no matter if this is you who is, you know, because this is also someone who's in service. This is what I'm getting, like service of this way of the world. You know, whether you're in school, whether you're working, whether you're a maid, whether you're anything that revolves around this way of, you know, it's not this. It's not fuck this shit. I'm going to, you know, live my life. I'm going to open the door that was always there. That I'm gonna open a door that I knew I was always the key for. I just got chills. I don't care. I don't care for this anymore. That's the energy that I'm getting. Like, you don't care. Excuse me. But yeah, that's it, guys. I'm gonna leave the reading here. know that you are always fucking stronger. Okay? Whenever you get scared and it's like, oh no. No, bro. Just be like, what? What? I'm the strongest fucking person in here, mate. Every time I get approached with a challenge, I'm the strongest one. Every time a new challenge comes, just because I was strong then, doesn't mean the challenge is harder now, doesn't mean that I'm less strong for this challenge, no. With every hard challenge, my strength ups. My strength is always sufficient. No matter what situation I'm in, always believe that, always know that. I send you protection, I send you love. I don't really need to because you're already as strong as you need to be. I'm only here to remind you of that. So thank you. And do listen to your intuition. And when you're not sure, always just fall on the positive side of things, okay? But this does not mean that you need to ignore or go the opposite way or something like that. This also doesn't mean that you need to put energy into certain things. Put enough energy into the things that you can control. And the things that you can't, the things that haven't presented themselves, that haven't shown you exactly what they're there for. Sit with that feeling. Acknowledge the feeling at least. You never know how much good you can do by doing good to someone else, to some energy, to some entity, to some emotion, some part of yourself. It can change the world. Especially, like example, if you think about if everyone also has this thing, something that's been following them around for ever since, I don't know when, certain situations in their family, ancestors, ancestry. Some energies also need to release. Some energies need help in that release. Some energies need a certain amount of love to be able to feel worthy, to be able to remember who they are. Because imagine if you died and nobody was there for you. Reminds me of a pigeon that I cycled past the other day. On the side of the road where all of these cars kept passing. Cycles passing. Even I cycled past and I said, I'm gonna come back and I'll put you flowers there, but just by you being the person who even thinks of putting flowers or thinks of bearing them and does it, imagine how much that means to that pigeon, to that pigeon's soul that probably lingering around there. Maybe, I don't know, but I did feel some sort of feelings when I did pass by. Being good to yourself, one of the best things. Okay, I will definitely leave you now. Lots of love.